Boy, do I want to talk about dildos. Okay, so if you haven't seen, and this is some news that I wanted to talk about today, if you haven't seen, there's been a recent issue at the WNBA games of people throwing dildos onto the courts. This has happened 4 times over the last couple of weeks of people throwing dildos onto the courts of WNBA games. If you haven't seen it, it all sparked because of this movement. During a major game or a major conference, something, I'm not exactly sure because I failed to read. I just know that the WNBA players all came out onto the court and they demanded more pay by wearing these shirts. And they've been demanding more pay for over a year now because of recent players like Caitlin Clark and other players coming into the scene, increasing the revenue of the sport, increasing the amount of money generated, increasing the popularity of the WNBA by 300%. They're demanding to be paid more. And this made a lot of people online, immediately a lot of the chuds online, a lot of the men online that run businesses like men should because women shouldn't run businesses, they said, listen here, women, we know what we're talking about and you don't know what you're talking about. Men in the NBA, because there's a silent M in front of that NBA, the man national basketball, they make more money because they are more popular, therefore you shouldn't be paid the same amount as them. To which the WNBA said, listen, for the last 2 years, we have not been arguing that. What we're arguing is the fact that the NBA players are paid 50% on average. It's between 49 and 51% of all sports-related money that is brought into the organization is then paid out to the players. The players have a 50-50 split with the NBA. Do you know how much the WNBA has? A 9.3% split. The players of the WNBA are paid 9.3% comparatively to 50%. So they're not asking to be paid as much, number-wise. They're not saying, oh, if LeBron James is making $19 million a game, we want to be paid $19 million a game. They're saying Caitlin Clark, the star player that is responsible for 50% or more of the recent spike of WNBA viewership, should be paid more than $78,000 a year, which is what her next contract will be. Again, the most popular player in the WNBA is going to be paid $78,000 for the next season. Again, she's not asking to be paid the same amount as LeBron James. She's asking, and the rest of the players are asking, to be paid proportionally the same amount or anything close to that. They're not asking that they want the millions and millions of dollars of the $72 billion industry or however much the NBA is making. They're saying if they're making 50% of all of the money, we want to make 50% of all the money too, which when it's put like that, most of us can say, wow, that's fair. Most of us can say, oh shit, that's fair. Damn. But you'll just see a lot of chuds online say women don't deserve money. But either way, regardless of that, that's what sparked all of this controversy, that then people started throwing dildos on the court, right? And then Polymarket started getting involved, and they started getting a lot of shame. And if you don't know what Polymarket is, it's a cryptocurrency betting platform that allows you to bet on pretty much anything. It'll let you bet on will Donald Trump fart during his next presidential speech. Polymarket is one of the most deplorable platforms on the entire platform, so much so that there was $500,000 worth of bets being reported on the sex toys alone that were going to be thrown at the athletes. If there was going to be one thrown that night, what color was going to be thrown, when it was going to be thrown, during what quarter, etc., etc. Even Polymarket themselves, which we're going to go over why Polymarket is not necessarily trusted on what they say, said that there was more money being thrown around about the dildos than there was about the actual games on Polymarket's platform specifically. But we can't trust what Polymarket's saying because last night they tweeted out that the WNBA stadiums are going to be implementing a no-bag policy at the upcoming games in order to thwart the dildo debacle, which, one, listen, the the bag policies are already not allowing the average size dildo in because you can usually only carry like a 4 to 5 inch little clutch without it being heavily searched by security. And listen, I'm not saying that 4 to 5 inches isn't a respectable amount. I just don't think that it's going to impress anybody when it's thrown onto a court. All right. Also, where do you think people are going to be putting the dildos in order to get them in? Where do you think people are putting the dildos in order to get them by the security? Let's just, they're not like, there's a really there's one place, and it just like leads me to believe that, or it like leads me down this line of how funny it is that a bunch of like extremely straight dudes, because you know the dudes that like are misogynistic enough to throw a dildo onto the court are like probably closetly homosexual but are extremely straight publicly, and they are shoving a dildo up their butts in order to throw them at women that could probably all beat them up. It's just, the line is crazy. But for the first couple of nights, since the nights, all of the dildos being thrown were neon green until last night. The first purple dildo, which I can show this on screen. You can't show dildos on Twitch, but I'm pretty sure I can show this little pixel. The first purple dildo hit the board, or hit the deck within the last 10 seconds of the game last night. Now, why am I talking about this? I want to by the end of this prove that the WNBA players deserve to be paid more money. Okay? And I'm going to get there, and I just need you to bear with me. So, turns out that this may have not been as focused on the WNBA players not deserving more money as people may originally have thought. Still very misogynistic, but it might not be as much about the money as possible, which leads us to the exact place that we all expected it to go: cryptocurrency. Why is it cryptocurrency? That's because the first dildo was thrown onto a court on July 29th, and every single dildo was thrown, and it was neon green. And on July 29th, the first dildo was thrown. July 28th, green dildo coin was minted and was created. And the creator of green dildo coin has come out and said, yes, this was all a big ploy because we wanted to make memes funny again. So this was all a giant pump for green dildo coin. To which leads me to my conclusion. If you're going to use the WNBA as your main advertising platform, and now that this has gone mega viral and everybody's talking about it, it leads me to believe that the WNBA is popular enough to be in mainstream media and is becoming a more mainstay talking point in all of our households, and that is a main reason why they should be paid more money. I think that the cryptocurrency chuds have actually inadvertently helped the cause of the WNBA players by proving that if they're going to be doing this entire stunt on the WNBA, that it's because the WNBA has enough talking power and enough sticking power that they deserve to be paid more money. I don't think that they're doing it on purpose. I don't think that they're feminists. I think that they were doing it strictly misogynistically, and probably because they knew that the controversy of them saying that they needed to be paid more and that there was a really ripe time to be messing with them, and that they should, that one of them got arrested already, and that's where we started going down this entire rabbit hole to figure all of this out. But either way, I think that I can deliberately prove that dildos equals women should be paid more money. And also, there was one other article that I really liked. It was from The Guardian that said the trolling of the WNBA games with sex toys is skibbity brain rot writ large. And this article goes on to talk about the memification of rebellion and talks about how skibbity toilet is what led to the dildos being thrown on the courts. This is what real journalism is. I rest my case. It's a real article. Oh my God. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's dildo news. Any questions?
You raised a valid point. I can only carry a 5-inch dildo in my own ass, but that's why I have friends. We all put a 3-inch piece of dildo in our asses and then reassemble it in the bathroom like green dildo Exodia. They'll never expect it.
Oh, shit. What the hell? This is huge. We're uncovering the entire operation. They rinse him off first.
He's an arsonist on a noble quest to escape the wrath of the IRS. He's got conflicting positions in the endless fight for queer folk